Hey everybody, Brandon Railway 6920 here. Matt, this is the video that you were asking about. This is I'm gonna be lettering my Brandon Railway SD70AcE. The one side is already done. So anyhow, these are the decals I use. They are from Headline. They're basically just a peel and stick, but after 48 hours they are extremely hard to remove. I do plan on using a dull coat or something to make them completely permanent. And so here's the one side that's already done. Does require a little bit of touch up on the paint, but that can be done with the decals on. No big deal. And I did have to take some decals off of a couple of my other locomotives because I just don't have enough decals. They never send you enough. But anyway, set the camera down for a second so I can pick one of these up. Usually when I'm doing this, I don't do any measuring because I hate measuring and trying to figure out midpoints and crap like that. So I'll just pick a line and I'll run with the rivets to keep everything as straight as possible. Fortunately, these letters are approximately 2 foot in HO scale, so they are similar to what Baltimore and Ohio had, Chesapeake and Ohio, and the older BNSF. The newer BNSF, I think it's the H3. They're a little bit smaller, I think. But anyhow, I'll just take a toothpick, and for this one, I'm starting right up against the dynamic brake fans, or the notch out, and I'll put the top of the letter right up against the bottom of one of the door hinges, and it'll actually fit fairly well in between the two of them. And once the letter is in place, I'll put a fair amount of pressure on it just to try to get it to stick nicely. And like I said, I will be using a dull coat or something because I don't want it to be shiny. But anyhow, get a few more of these on and I will turn the camera back on so you can see how that looks. Okay, here we are with the first part just about done. Do you see it does look a little off, but like I said, I don't do much in the way of spacing. I don't do much of measuring, and they are all individual letters. They do stick up just a little, but once I do a clear coat or something, that will disappear. But yeah, I just don't do much with trying to figure out the spacing and stuff and measuring because it takes way too much time. I'm not a extremely patient person when it comes to details, and my eyesight is fairly decent, as you can tell. The lettering looks spaced out pretty good. So anyhow, I'll pause this again and start the railway portion. But like I said, here's another look at the lettering that I use. Headline, they are quarter inch or eighth inch. Can't remember because I threw out the packaging, but they're on eBay for like $8, so it's really cheap. I've got 4 sheets here that I'm working with. Comes with capital letters, lowercase letters, numbers, uh, basically anything you would need to letter a locomotive cheaply, and then you can put them in whatever color you want or anything. So pause this and start railway and show off a little more. Okay, as you can see, I've put the capital R on for railway. I'm going to try to do this while recording one hand and doing the lettering with my other hand. That way you can get a sense of how exactly I do this. I just use simply a sharp toothpick to get the letters off of the pages, and then at least for this section, I'm going to be going in between the handrails because railway is going to be lower. It is going to be a bit off from the other side, but personally I like starting by the dynamic brake fans. I don't like going underneath of it because it makes things lower, and then it's even more off from the other side. So I prefer to have it start at the dynamic brake, go over, and it'll probably end somewhere right around here, depending on how close I put the lettering for railway. So anyhow, find out where my lowercase a's are. Got one left on this page. I've been doing a lot of lettering for several other things as well. Some of my buildings I started putting lettering on and stuff. So I need to see if I can rest my tablet right there. Hey, that works. Because I need to take the little middle point of the A out. Sometimes they go with the letter. But it just all depends on how new your lettering is. Sometimes the newer ones, they tend to stick. So this is a lot trickier to do when you're trying to look through the lens of a tablet. But that's basically how I'll put them on there. So scooch back here, set my tablet like that, prop the engine up a little more. I'm going to go ahead and take the handrails off, because Walther's mainline, one thing I have noticed about them is their handrails are fairly easy to put back on. They're a lot easier than the Athearn and Atlas handrails. I've had a lot of trouble with them. There's that. Let's see, there's a lowercase I. Now the lowercase i's are in two parts. They have the main section of the letter, and then they do have the dot that is a separate piece, which those are fun. Unless you have at least some bit of patience, which, like I said, I don't have a whole lot, but unless you have some bit, sometimes you can really chase those little dots around the page trying to get them off of the paper to be able to get them on your toothpick, because I don't know how well you can see it. That is tiny, but it does measure to be about, like I said, 2 foot. So anyhow, it works, and I like it, and what I've been told is that's all that matters. So it's my railroad, but I do tend to try to make things look as realistic as possible. I'm not one of those people that, oh, I just want it to look like a toy, or as long as I'm happy, that's all that matters. I like it, so I mean, that is all that matters, but I tend to still try to stay within some grasp of reality on this. Let's see, there's my W. Let's see. Yes! Yay! I have... Ooh! I know you didn't see that, but the A actually come flying off the page at me. Scooch over. Try to size that up. And I was a little off on how far it would take, but it's alright. Y on there. And like I said, after 48 hours, this lettering does stay fairly clean, fairly crisp. It doesn't move a whole lot. But when you're transferring letters like the B and the R on here, the capital B and R, they will tend to move, and it depends. Corrugated rail cars are also a real pain because the lettering just does not want to stick to them. So let's see. Uh-oh. I think I'm out of ones. I need a 1 to be able to number this. That is not cool. Last page. I am out of number 1s. So I won't be able to finish this before I end the video, but I will be able to at least put the 04 on it. I am leaving this the number 104 because I don't want to have to try to put new number boards on this. It's not really hard, but I just don't want to have to deal with new number boards. So everything's already programmed. Let's see, number 4. Oh, come on. And the little punchy thingy-majigger stayed with the number 4. Like I said, sometimes it'll do that. These decals are not brand new, but they're not very old. Come on. So it just depends, and the weather has a lot to do with it too. I know it's kind of sticky here right now, but there we go. The number on there. I would have thought I had enough numbers to do that, but evidently not. Maybe I can take a number from one of my locomotives or something. One of my other locomotives, because I know I've got a whole bunch of stuff that I've numbered downstairs, switches and all that happy horse crap. But anyhow, that is how I do my lettering on Brandon Railway's equipment. If you know anybody that wants equipment lettered similar to this, I am willing to work up a price on doing this for people. I find it enjoyable, so anyhow, just contact me in the comment section if you're interested in anything like this. But for now, this is Brandon Railway 6920 signing off.